Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. We have a rather amusing one for you today. This is Hellon Gaming in the Japanese Tier 9 destroyer, the Kitakaze. This ship needs no introduction, so I'm not going to give it one. Suffice to say, it's an extremely capable Tier 9 Japanese destroyer. Unfortunately for Hellon Gaming, he is in a Tier 11 battle. There are 2 super ships on each team. Here on the tiers are the cruisers map, but honestly the ship that he's sailing is not really important. What is important, and somebody's already pointed it out in chat, there are 7 Napolis in this battle. The Tier 10 Italian heavy cruiser, 5 in Hellon Gaming's team and 2 on the enemy team. Although I want to give a special shout out here, not to any of the Napolis, but to the captain of the Yoshino on the enemy team, who's receiving my nomination for best name in this battle. He's going by the name Oye Beltaloda. There's an Expanse fan right there, and I very much approve. Anyway, minor spoiler, Hellon Gaming here is only going to do 16,000 damage during the entire course of this battle, but it doesn't matter because he's still going to be critical to the successful outcome. Unfortunately, he gets spotted early on by the USS USA there. Turns his AA guns back on because, hey, why not? You're spotted anyway. And then back off. Starts manoeuvring just in case anybody took a pot shot at him for the duration of the admittedly very short interval where he was spotted, but he's fine. Actually, that's going to be a recurring theme throughout the course of the rest of this battle as well. The reason you're watching this video is not because of anything particularly special that Hellon Gaming is going to do. I mean, he's only going to do 16,000 damage, but it's all to do with the spotting. And he does expose himself to some fairly considerable risk in order to achieve the result that the team are going to get. Because he's not the stealthiest destroyer in the battle, not by far. The enemy team have a pair of Yugamos, both of whom outspot him, and either one of which could be down here at Cap Circle Charlie, scouting and potentially contesting the Cap Circle. So what he's doing is not without a certain degree of risk, but he's going to do it anyway, except what he's doing is not flipping the Cap Circle. I mean, if that happens anyway, it's just a happy coincidence. What he is in fact doing is spotting for the Napolis. 3 of them in particular. They're not in a division. They have nothing in common other than the fact that they're all sailing Napolis. And what you're going to see is something that I have seen happen before. But every time I've seen it happen, it's been when a specific division has been formed prior to the battle by 3 friends who get together for the specific purpose of doing what you're going to see these 3 random Napoli players just deciding to do at the beginning of this battle. You see, the Napoli, in common with a lot of Italian cruisers, has a high-speed smokescreen. What this means is that unlike normal smokescreens where you have to slow down to a quarter throttle or run out of the smoke and get spotted, the Napoli can continue chugging along at full speed while remaining smoked and undetected. In order to not be completely overpowered, the smokescreen doesn't last very long. However, if you have 3 Napolis all working together and rotating their smokescreens, they can pretty much stay undetected while chugging along at full speed, more or less permanently. And that's exactly what those 3 random Napoli players have decided to do. All Hellon Gaming has to do is spot for them. And he has also managed to flip the Cap Circle, so no Yugamo down here, at least not that we know of. That is good news. What we're seeing here is, I'm somewhat reminded of the infamous Type 59 Chinese medium tank plague that infested World of Tanks, I don't know, must be 10 years ago now. You see, the Type 59, a fairly infamous premium Tier 8 Chinese medium tank, was probably the first premium tank introduced into World of Tanks that was actually pretty good. Oh, hang on a second, I think Hellon Gaming's about to get spotted by the USS USA's torpedo bombers over there, and he's within shooting range of a whole bunch of enemies. This could be bad. He has been spotted. And yet, unusually for a destroyer, nobody's shooting at him. There's an Annapolis over there. That thing could delete him in seconds flat. But literally nobody on the enemy team cares about the destroyer that's just been spotted in open water while the Napoli pain train is chugging along towards them. Oh, and speaking of Italians, have a look at the Paolo Emilio. all the way up there to the north. He's just taken out the Kremlin with a devastating strike. The Paolo Emilio, or the Iolo Emilio, or the Paolo Emiliolo, is another one of those Italian ships that tends to either cover itself in glory or die in a blazing heap. And he has died in a blazing heap, but he took the Kremlin out with him. Meanwhile, the Napoli pain train definitely has Hell on Gaming's back. I mean, he was radared here a minute ago, but the radar wasn't for him. It was for the... oh, well, so much for the radar. They've just killed the Annapolis too. These guys have got his back. Now they're going for the carrier. I have no idea what the carrier is doing there, or why it's given broadside to a bunch of 3 Italian heavy cruisers, but it is, and I'm certainly not complaining. Hell on Gaming is going to have to chill out here or get detected by the Venezia. He might actually have to use his own smoke here, but all of these enemy ships are now so close that he no longer really has to spot. And speaking of spotting, he's up to nearly 100,000 spotting damage. Yeah. So I was talking about how this completely random cooperation amongst Napoli players reminded me of the Type 59 plague in World of Tanks. You see, the Type 59 was probably the first premium tank introduced into that game that was actually pretty good all round. It had been traditional up until that point that whenever Wargaming introduced a premium, it would be better than a stock tank with no upgrades of the same class and tier. But it wouldn't be as good as a fully upgraded one, with all of the equipment modules unlocked and installed. The Type 59, however, was just pretty good all round. It wasn't exceptional, but there was nothing wrong with it. Naturally, it sold like hot cakes. Oh, Venezia torpedoes. No, we're fine. You can avoid those. You'll have to leave the smoke screen though. And so everybody bought the Type 59, which wouldn't by itself have been that much of a problem, and I'm sure Wargaming made millions out of the sales, so they certainly weren't complaining. But the thing about the Type 59, as well as just being not really bad in any respect, it also had protected matchmaking. It would only ever get into Tier 8 or 9 battles. It would never get into a Tier 10 battle. Now that, as well as the fact that it was selling by the tens of thousands, meant that Tier 8 and 9 battles, it was not unusual to see fully half of both teams Type 59 players. But that too wouldn't have been quite so bad, if not for, I can't really describe it as anything other than emergent gameplay. Because the Type 59 players, and there was never any kind of plan for this, it just kind of happened spontaneously. They would all work together. Completely random players, sometimes in platoons, more often not, with the only thing that they actually had in common being that they were all driving Type 59s. And they would just wolf pack up and spontaneously drive around the battlefield together, ruffle stomping everything that they encountered. And thus, the Type 59 plague was born. Now, I'm not saying that the same thing is happening in World of Warships with the Napoli, but it's happening in this battle. And thanks to Hell on Gaming's spotting, 3 completely random Napoli players just absolutely ruffle stomped the enemy team with nothing in common other than the fact that they're all playing the same Italian heavy cruiser with the same high-speed smokescreen. And that little bit of emergent gameplay put all 3 of them by far top of the team, with Hell on Gaming, thanks to all of the spotting that he was doing for them, finishing 4th. Exactly how much spotting? More than 100,000. Yeah. I do so love it when a plan comes together. Especially when it's a plan that nobody involved even knew they were going to be executing until 30 seconds after the battle started. So congratulations to Roger9072, Dr. Flank Unconquerable, and Stan the Man in the Napolis for having the balls to try to pull that off. And of course Hell on Gaming, without whose spotting it wouldn't have succeeded. 4 completely random teammates who just thought to themselves, wouldn't it be funny if... And of course it was. Congratulations and well played to all 4 of them. It's just amazing what you can achieve with a little bit of cooperation and teamwork, isn't it? And on that bombshell, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.